Good ambiguously late at night, everybody. I am going to be playing some Eldrazi Tron today. I got asked to play this post banless update. I'm very tired. I went and lifted today. I had another video in the works that was going to be a Mox Amber Mono White list. I did a lot of testing. It performed better in testing and didn't really make for good content, so I had to scrap that video. I'm still interested in doing a Mox Amber Mono White list, but it's going to take a lot more testing before it's ready to play for content. So I have this instead because this is a deck that I know I can play. I chose a recent Eldrazi Tron list not containing Simian Spirit Guide at random. And this is what I ended up with. I don't know the merits of this particular deck list, but we're going to see what happens. I'm interested to see how Chalice of the Void performs without Simian Spirit Guide. So, alrighty, without any further ado, let's go ahead and take Eldrazi Tron into a Modern League. I believe the change for Valky Cascade has gone into effect. I know the bans have, so we'll see what happens. Alrighty, round one, here we go. Alright, I'd love to play first. I mean, this seems like a pretty decent hand to me. I'll keep. So for those of you who haven't been following in my Discord, shameless Discord plug, link is in the description below. Today I learned something interesting about myself, and that would be that for the past 4+ months, I've had a rib and my clavicle out of place, and that's been wreaking havoc on my body, because I've not been able to take full breaths, and I've not had full range of motion. I've been weightlifting this entire time, too, that I've had all of these horrible things happening to me. Today I got those corrected, and I went from feeling generally just kind of awful to absolutely unbelievably Superman amazing in the span of about 30 minutes. And I have to say, I can't believe what I'm capable of tolerating as normal. Yeah, anyway. Sorry for the non-magic related tangent. We assembled Tron first, which basically means we win. Yeah. Alright. So versus my opponent's deck, which could be any variation of Tron, I have no idea which one it is. I probably am going to bring in Sorceress Spyglass, maybe over Dismembers. If they're Eldrazi Tron, I'm going to regret that, but if they're not Eldrazi Tron, this is going to be probably the way to go. I do have to be careful because I could end up Sorceress Spyglassing my own threats, but on the draw, when we're going to have 2 mana and then our opponent has 7, it's probably worth having those in a relatively available manner. Ghost Quarter is nice, but I don't really want to go down a land here. We don't have great follow-ups. I'm going to mulligan. Yeah, this seems good. Put back a power plant. So if my opponent stumbles or fumbles on Tron at all, which it doesn't look like they're going to, but if they do, we're in a great place. They will not. They will assemble turn 3 Tron. Play power plant, pass the turn. Okay. Opponent untaps, plays power plant, plays Thought-Knot Seer. They are also Eldrazi Tron. So they can take our Reality Smasher. I see my opponent has had the same idea that I had, which was Eldrazi Tron's probably going to be good post-ban list. Man, maybe I should rerun the Mono-Black Tron list. See how that does. I bet you with some slight tweaks it would actually be pretty good in this metagame. But it plays a Walking Ballista on 1. We untap. We draw Cavern of Souls. Play Urza's Tower. Play Thought-Knot Seer. Take a look at our opponent's hand. They have Reality Smasher, Wormcoil Engine. Gonna take Wormcoil. Pass the turn. Opponent's hand is pretty good. They drew a Thought Knot. Amazing. We lose Thought Knots here. Or we lose our Reality Smasher and they play Blast Zone. Alright, Karn Great Creator seems pretty decent. Play Karn. Shut off Walking Ballista. Wish. Ensnaring Bridge, I think is what we gotta go with here. Because we have to keep Karn alive. And we need to stop Reality Smashers from attacking. That seems pretty prudent. Opponent going to tick up Blast Zone to 2. Thankfully they couldn't get it to 3 or 4. Opponent plays a Smasher, plays a Power Plant, or plays a Mine, I mean. We untap. We draw Thought Knots here. Down tick Karn. Oh, I can't get Sorcerous Spyglass. And I don't have a Pithing Needle. Get Coding. Play Coding. Play Cavern. Name Eldrazi. Play Thought Knot. We'll rip the other Reality Smasher from my opponent's hand. So my opponent probably needs to tick up Blast Zone to 3. Problem is I can't shut off Blast Zone this turn. I mean, I can still try. Maybe they have 6. Alright, so they blow up Ensnaring Bridge. Everybody can now start attacking again, but Walking Ballista still can't activate its ability. Okay, so my opponent has 1 unknown in hand. I mean, they should probably send Reality Smasher directly at us, I imagine. Yep, alright. I think I'm going to give my opponent 2 draws and take 2 draws myself. We're losing Karn no matter what anyway. Opponent plays a Mystic Forge, which is a really good card to have in this matchup. They play a Wastes and a Matter Reshaper. We untap. Draw Eldrazi Temple. Play an Urza's Tower, play an Expedition map. Crack an Expedition map. Get a... I suppose I could get a Ghost Quarter and hit their tower. I shouldn't have played tower. I should have gotten Ghost Quarter this turn and taken them off of Tron because they have an active Mystic Forge. That was a mistake. I'm gonna chalk that up to tired brain. I can't wait to go to sleep tonight. I'll actually be able to breathe in my sleep. Okay, Ugin the Ineffable is an amazing top deck for my opponent. They're going to be able to play so many cards. And they just exiled, what was that? Eldrazi Temple. I mean, Ugin's just a big draw engine for them, and we no longer have we no longer have Ensnaring Bridge, not without exiling our own grave. So they hit us for a lot. They put an extra counter on Ballista. We take tons of damage. We go to 5, untap. And we only draw lands? Okay. Well, big problem is I took out my Dismembers and left in all his dusts. So we're gonna swap that around real quick. I like that my opponent took out probably their Karn Great Creators and brought in like things like their Wormcoil engine. Oh, Chalice is probably not very great versus my opponent now that I think about it. Maybe we do bring in just like Wormcoil engine and stuff. I'll bring in Wormcoil engine main deck, but I guess I'll still keep the Chalices. Run it back. I would love to play first. Close. Very close. But I think we gotta mulligan this. This is better. I will keep this. The question is, do I put back a Ghost Quarter? Or do I put back a Tower? And I think because I have 2 Eldrazi Temples, I put back Urza's Tower. We will start Eldrazi Temple. See what our opponent does. Power Plant. I would love to draw a Thought Knot here. Chalice. Okay. Play Chalice X1, so we can shut off any Expedition maps our opponent may have. Pithing Needles and the like. Opponent plays a Sorcerous Spyglass. They get to see our hand, so they probably name Ghost Quarter. Especially if they're close to Tron. Okay. We untap and draw Tower. So, play Tower. Play Reality Smasher. Go to combat. Get in for 5. Take them to 15. They untap. Opponent plays Tower. Man, that Ghost Quarter would have been good, too. Maybe it is correct. Well, I did bring in the Sorcerous Spyglasses, so I mean... Opponent plays a Mystic Forge. They have one turn to get something pretty good, and it's got to be like an O-Stone. I just don't know what else would do it. And then we could Ghost Quarter them. We untap, we draw Mind Stone. So players is mine. Play Mind Stone. Add mana. Play Smasher number 2. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 10. I guess if they had a Dismember... Yeah. That saves them a damage, but forces them to discard. They discard an Urza's Mine. We hit them down to 6. They untap. They probably will be reluctant to pay life for Mystic Forge without a blocker anyway, because that changes the clock from 2 to 1. Okay, opponent plays Karn Great Creator, so we can no longer sack Mind Stone. They're going to wish for Bridge. Yep. Lame. Then they play a Tower. We untap and draw Urza's Mine, play Ghost Quarter, pass the turn. Ah, so close. I think my opponent really has us, though. I would need my own Karn Great Creator to stop them from, like, wishing for relevant spells and stuff. They're just gonna wish again? Oh yeah, because they're gonna need, like, Liquid Metal Coating. Makes sense. Okay, opponent plays Ballista on 1. They throw Expedition Map into Chalice. I would really like to draw Walking Ballista here. I don't even know if I have any in the main deck. I wasn't really paying attention to the configuration I ended up getting. I have 1 in the main deck and none in the sideboard. Another Walking Ballista X4. Walking Ballista 1 time. Damn. Sure. Players is mine. Pass the turn. Well, now we're just kind of in the phase of the game where our opponent is top-decking stuff because they have Mystic Forge, and we are not. And they blow up Urza's Tower. They play Ugin, the Ineffable. Make a Spirit. New Karn. They blow up Chalice, play a map. Exile Urza's Tower, go to 5. Well, Walking Ballista no longer does it. They play a Blast Zone. Alright, we get our own Karn Great Creator. So, play Great Creator. The problem is I can't wish for my Sorcerous Spyglasses because I brought them in. Is there anything 2 mana or less I can get here that matters? I guess Ratchet Bomb? Oh no, I can't, because Ratchet Bomb doesn't do anything. So, that means I want to wish for something with a static effect. That doesn't have an activated ability. So that's like Crucible and Snaring Bridge, neither of which I can play. I guess I'm going to wish for Crucible. If I draw Walking Ballista, I could animate Sorcerous Spyglass, kill it, and then start Crucibling, or start Ghost Quartering my opponent a lot. They take up Blast Zone 2. Interesting. They play Expedition Map. They play Thought-Knot Seer, take Crucible from me. I could wish for it again. That'd be kind of funny. Man, I wish we had an Oblivion Stone. I mean, I wouldn't be able to use it in this situation, but yeah. Okay, opponent wishes. They get Sky Sovereign. They kill our Karn. And yeah, that's going to be game over. The small futile resistance I tried to put up there ended up not working. So, alrighty, I will see you all in round 2. Alrighty, round 2, here we go. I would like to play first. We're very close to Tron, but we're not doing anything without Tron. I think I'm going to mulligan. This, on the other hand, I really like. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put back Scavenger Grounds. Start Mine, pass the turn. The idea is to go Mine, Tower, and Mind Stone. Oh my god. What is this, Tron meta? I guess I'm not the only Tron troglodyte that was like, man, finally I can play my deck and have it be good. Pass the turn. So next turn we can assemble Tron and play Reality Smasher. My opponent is green Tron because of the Chromatic Star, but like, that's funny. They had to go for a forest, which means their Tron is going to be much slower than any Troning we're doing. We untap. We draw an Urza's Mine. So, crack Expedition Map. Get Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Play Reality Smasher. Go to combat. Hit him for 5. If I had drawn Power Plant there, I would have gotten Ghost Quarter. Okay, opponent plays Urza's Tower. They play Expedition Map. Okay. We untap. We draw Expedition Map. What was that thing I said? If I had Tron, I could just, I don't know, go get Ghost Quarter. Play Ghost Quarter. Play Reality Smasher. Go to combat. Attack for 10. Hit my opponent to 5. We're going to pass to their draw step. I guess if they crack map here, we'll let them tutor first, and then we'll Ghost Quarter them. Hit Power Plant. Opponent gets a forest. They untap. They gotta deal with 2 Reality Smashers, no Tron. Game's over. Yep, that Wormcoil would have been a problem, too. Alright, so Tron matchup again. Spyglass, Spyglass, and versus Green Tron, all his dust's out. I could bring in Wormcoil or Sky Sovereign. It would be okay. Might be better than, like, Relic. Yeah. I really doubt Dismember is actually going to be good. We just don't really have enough to, like, sideboard in this situation. Alrighty. Game 2. We have Ghost Quarter in our opener, but we have hands that do other things faster. This might be one of them, but it's also probably not. I'm going to go to 5. I'm going to go to 4. Alright. Put 3 cards back. 1, 2, 3. Oh, what I would give for a Thought Knot. Opponent starts Urza's Mine into Chromatic Star. We untap, draw Blast Zone, play Eldrazi Temple, pass the turn. We have to hope our opponent has a Planeswalker threat that isn't Karn Great Creator, that we can Sorcerer Spyglass. Or like an Expedition Map or something they play this turn that they can't crack for some reason. Opponent plays an Urza's Tower into a Chromatic Sphere, then passes. We untap, we draw an Urza's Tower, play Urza's Tower, play Sorceress Spyglass. They have Tron, they have Sanctum of Ugin, and they have Wormcoil Engine. I'm going to go with Karn Liberated. And we'll pass, because we're not running Karn Liberated, at least not to my knowledge. Opponent probably plays Power Plant, cracks Star for green, Ancient Stirrings, and then plays Wormcoil. Some combination of cards like that, I imagine. There's a Wormcoil. Wormcoil is a problem. They decide not to crack Sphere for the Ancient Stirrings. Alright. We untap, get Smasher. So, play Smasher. Kind of interesting that they have, like, Brushland. Green-White Tron? What do they get, like, Path, maybe? Okay, they sack Sphere for green. Ancient Stirrings. Walking Ballista. Alright. They could play Walking Ballista on 3. Play Urza's Mine, which is not the power plant they were holding. They could just play Walking Ballista on 4. Second, Wormcoil. Right? None of these are cards that, like, started in their hand. And they attack us for 6. Sure. Go up to 26. We untap. Draw Matter Reshaper. Play Blast Zone. Play good old Karn GC. Uptick on Spyglass to have a blocker. Next turn we have to wish for Bridge. While blocking all the worm token, or blocking all the worms. So opponent untaps. I mean, if my opponent has Karn Liberated, it's game over. Yep. So chump both Wormcoils. They go up to 38. They play Brushland. Oh, this is probably... Oh, not a Thragtusk. I was actually imagining, like, World Breaker. Or something to that effect. They gain 5. They're at 42. They play a Chromatic Sphere. They must have played this power plant then. So, Wish with Karn. Get ourselves an Ensnaring Bridge. Play Ensnaring Bridge. Play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Then we have to get Liquid Metal Coating and start blowing up lands before our opponent can actually land a big Tron threat. Which they have to top deck one naturally, but it's not all that unlikely. But it plays a Sanctum. 11 mana. It's probably just Walking Ballista then. Okay, they play Walking Ballista. They can sack Sanctum if they want to. And they do. Opponent gets an Ulamog of the Ceaseless Hunger. I would really like to top deck a Ghost Quarter. That would make me feel a lot better about myself. Oh, I have an Expedition map. What am I saying? I've got a Ghost Quarter. Another map. So, crack map. Get Ghost Quarter. Play Ghost Quarter. Take our opponent off Tron. Wish with Karn. Get ourselves a Liquid Metal Coating. Play Coating. Pass the turn. On my opponent's upkeep, shut off Power Plant. Just in case they drew Tower. They path Thragtusk. Getting a Forest. And a Beast. Opponent has Ulamog, 1 unknown in hand. We draw Chalice. So... Coating Power Plant. Blow up Power Plant. Play Map. Put Chalice on 1. There's no more Paths, Ancient Stirrings, no Nature's Claims, nothing. Pass the turn. Opponent found a tower. That's scary. We untap. Draw Thought-Knot Seer. So opponent has 2 cards in hand. Let's go ahead and play Thought-Knot Seer. If nothing else, we can take Ugin from them. Or, I mean, not Ugin, I mean Ulamog. Okay, last card in hand is a Chromatic Sphere. Blow up Tower. Crack Map. I guess we just get like a Mine. Play the Mine. Pass the turn. We don't really have anything left to wish for. I could get Crucible and start Ghost Quartering them in addition, but then we have to take a turn off of blowing up lands to do that. We get an Endbringer. Endbringer is actually great. We'll blow up this brush land. So, play Endbringer. Pass the turn. Opponent casts an Ancient Stirrings into a Chalice of the Void. We untap. We draw Chalice. Activate Endbringer, draw a card. Play Tower. Blow up a Forest. Put Chalice on 2. Pass the turn. We can win this. We can actually cast our own, like, Ulamog. Alright, draw a card. Another Chalice. That's not really what we want. Untap. Opponent scoops it up. They don't want to play that out. I don't blame them. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. We will be on the play. Well, I mean, it's a turn 3 Thought-Knot or a turn 3 Reality Smasher, depending on what kind of shenanigans happen. So, I'm going to keep. We will start Eldrazi Temple into Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Hollowed Fountain. We untap and draw Chalice, so Cavern of Souls. Name Eldrazi. Activate Map. get an Eldrazi Temple. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Misty. We untap, we draw wastes. Play Eldrazi Temple. Play Reality Smasher, uncounterably. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 5. They go to 15. They fetch and go to 14. Getting a basic and Growth Spiral. Getting a Scalding Tarn. And they fetch, go to 13. For a Ketria Triome, they untap. Wonder if they're still playing Omnath. They crack Scalding Tarn for an island. Hey, it's Omnath! We untap. We draw Scavenger Grounds. Let's be smart about this, shall we? Play a Wastes. Thought-Knot Seer. Uncounterably. Take a peek at our opponent's hand, make sure there's no Force of Negation. Oh, there was a Force of Negation. Take it from them. Dismember Omnath. Go to combat. Hit our opponent for 5. Take them to 7. They gotta have a pretty good play this turn. And they don't. Yeah, Omnath without Uro is a lot worse. Still good, don't get me wrong. A lot worse. Considering my opponent's playing Scape Shifts and stuff, I think I bring in Warping Whale. Resolving in all his dust seems ambitious, I think. Run it back. That cavern did work. My opponent was holding 2 remands. Whoo! Alright. Mulligan. This is actually pretty good. I will keep this. I'm going to put back a Wastes, just in case we get Ghost Quartered. Opponent starts Scalding Tarn. We draw Matter Reshaper, play Power Plant, play Map. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks Scalding Tarn, gets a Raugrin Triome and untaps. Shocks a Steam Vents. We untap. No green mana for our opponent, it is worth noting. Play Resist Tower, pass the turn. They untap. Play a Ketria Triome. So they like 100% have a remand. We get an Urza's Mine. Draw Reality Smasher. They're stopped on our draw step. Players is mine. I suppose they could have Mana Leak. Well, attempt to play Karn. Yep, remand. Play Matter Reshaper. Pass the turn. Steam Vents. Down to 15. We untap. We draw Ugin. Go to combat. Attack them for 3. They go to 12. We have a bunch of different plays we can make this turn. We can try playing Karn again. If that doesn't work, we can follow it up with an Expedition Map. We could play Ugin, Blast Zone, and then like Thought-Knot. They have a counterspell though. There's no way they don't. They could have like Factor Fiction, I guess. Try playing Karn. It's the one they know about. Yeah, that was a Cryptic. They decide on Remand instead. Play Blast Zone. Attempt a Thought-Knot. I think they'd have to have 3rd Remand here. Growth Spiral. Okay. Hopefully we can take an important spell from them. Teferi, Scape Shift, Lightning Bolt, Cryptic. Take Cryptic. Pass the turn. Scape Shift's bad, but... well, bad for us, but hopefully we can do something about it. I think my opponent has to play Teferi and bounce here. Renin 6? If they have Renin 6, they could Renin 6, pick up Scalding Tarn, cast Scape Shift, but they can only do a maximum of 18 damage here. I guess they could kill both of our creatures if they did that. Okay, they play Teferi. They make us pick up Thought-Knot, and they draw. We untap. So So the concern is dying to Valakut. So I guess we have to wish for Witchbane Orb. That sucks. Go to combat. Kill Teferi. Opponent lets him die. They do have Lightning Bolt. Let me think about this. I have 8 mana. I could play Ugin. My opponent does only have 2 green mana. No, there's nothing I can do about that. So if I play Ugin, I'll have 2 mana. I can play Expedition Map for free, crack it with the remaining 2 mana, get another tower, play the tower, play Karn for 2, have 1 floating. No, that doesn't quite work. So play Karn. Wish. If I could exile their grave, kill Renin 6, or kill Renin 6 and then turn off a green source, that would be the best. But I think I just have to get Witchbane Orb here. Play Witchbane Orb. They bolt Karn. That's reasonable. Play Blast Zone. Play Expedition Map. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest. Scape Shifts. Field of the Dead's out of the format, so it's basically just Valakut. Okay, they're going for a little Scape Shift. Probably just to kill Matter Reshaper. Alright. Matter Reshaper dies. Put Scavenger Grounds onto the battlefield. They have 3 cards in hand. They uptick Renin 6. We untap. Draw Matter Reshaper. Activate Expedition Map. Get Cavern of Souls. Play it. Name Eldrazi. Play Thought-Knot Seer. Take a look at their hand. Scape Shift and Force of Negation. So take Scape Shift. I have 5 mana left, so play Smasher. Go to combat. If I attack them, they're dead next turn. What can they do? They can ping something or pick up a land. They can fetch up a mountain and do 3 damage. They would have to have like Cryptic Bounce into draw 3rd Scape Shift to kill us. And there's really nothing we can do about that. Yeah, I'm just going to attack them for 5. I think this is how we end up killing them. They untap, they get to draw. Because they can't play 2 mountains. I guess if they draw Dryad, they could kill Reality Smasher. What did they just do? Did they have a companion that I wasn't paying attention to? No. They couldn't have. What would it have been? Couldn't have been Gigantha? They did something. I didn't see it. Okay, they get to draw off of Thought-Knot Seer. Oh, they pinged okay. So we know our opponent is holding Force of Negation. We can't haste them down, so go to combat. Attack them for 6. They go to 1. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. Okay, attempt to play Ugin the Ineffable. This should probably draw Force. Okay. Play Karn. Wish with Karn. Something we can play this turn. I wish I had a Pithing Needle. Oh, they cycled Ralgrin Triumph. That's what I couldn't figure out. I really want to play Spyglass, but I can't. I can't ping my opponent for 1 in any way that I know of. I think I just get Tormod's Crypt and exile their grave, really. Pass the turn. I think they have to have Cryptic Bounce, Scape Shift to win. Or a good answer to Reality Smasher, I guess. Playing out Matter Reshaper may have been better than Karn in that regard. What is this? Tybalt. Exiling Reality Smasher. That jerk. What can I do here? My opponent will be able to play Reality Smasher. They have 2 unknown cards in hand. Okay, so what we do, we cash in Karn. We get Sorceress Spyglass. Play the Spyglass. Opponent has Renin 6. Okay. So then we name Tybalt, Cosmic Imposter. Play Endbringer, and if we make it to our upkeep, we win. We can also play Matter Reshaper as a backup plan. So our opponent has Land, Wrenn and 6, One Unknown, and Reality Smasher. And that's not good enough. Sweet. Alright, see you guys in round 4. Alrighty, round 4, here we go. Yeah, this is a mulligan. This, on the other hand, kind of looks like a keep. I think unfortunately I put back a Blast Zone. And I say unfortunately because I would have liked a third land for Smasher. When it starts Arid Mesa. So my opponent could be land destruction, they could be burn, they could be control, they could be a lot of things with an Arid Mesa. They crack Arid Mesa, they get a Raugrin Triome, so they're either the same Omnath deck or they are control, which pretty sure they're an Omnath deck. Oh, they might be control. Stoneforge Mystic. Alright. Batterskull. Thought-Knot Seer, please. Thank you. Thank you, Eldrazi gods. Play Thought-Knot. Let's take a little look at what our opponent's doing here. Batterskull, Force of Negation, Lightning Bolt, Shark Typhoon. Take Batterskull. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays a Scalding Tarn. We untap. Draw an Urza's Tower. Play Urza's Tower. Play Reality Smasher. We're going to put the pressure on now. They have to have like a mana leak here. They don't. So probably what my opponent is going to do is they are going to block this Thought-Knot Seer and then Lightning Bolt it to get a draw, but I still think that we have to attack with both. Yep. Yep. So, but it takes 5, they get a draw. They crack Scalding Tarn, go to 12. You get a Steam Vents tapped, so they are Jeskai control. Man, good to see a control deck back in this metagame. And in the 2-in-1 bracket, no less. Okay, opponent plays Flooded Strand, which is a card we did not know about. Stoneforge Mystic. Sword of Feast and Famine. We untap. We draw a tower. Okay, go to combat. If they have a path, we're probably going to get blown out, but hit them for 5, take them to 7. Okay, players this tower. This is probably going to bait the force. Yep, pitching Shark Typhoon. Okay, pass the turn. On a cracks Flooded Strand, goes down to 6. Gets a Hallowed Fountain tapped, so they're holding Celestial Colonnade, Sword of Feast and Famine, 2 unknowns. They play Misty, crack it and go to 5. They're in the danger zone. They can play an equipped sword, force us to discard and untap all their lands. They're holding Colonnade, 1 unknown. We take the hit, pitch Chalice. They pass, we untap, draw Ulamog, go to combat. Cryptic, probably tap and draw. Okay. Play Chalice on 1. Then play Matter Reshaper. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They can force us to discard Ulamog here. I will take the hit if they attack. The only downside would be if my opponent had like a huge Shark Typhoon. I'm really surprised they didn't play Colonnade prior to attacking. discard Ulamog. Opponent gets to untap. They don't even take advantage of the mana, and they concede. Alright. Versus Control. It's possible that Warping Whale is good here. Just countering a sorcery, but I think we're set up fine. Just run it back. This hand is potentially very good. I will keep. Opponent plays Polluted Delta and passes. We draw All Is Dust. Start Eldrazi Temple and Expedition Map. So, this isn't technically the right play necessarily. If my opponent's play is very reliant on a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, I actually probably wanted to keep that mana open for a Dismember on Stoneforge during my opponent's turn so they can't force a negation to protect it. Cleansing Wildfire. It's actually fine. We untap and draw Tower. So play Tower. Play Chalice on 1. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a field. We untap. Oh no, that's bad. We needed to draw anything but that card. God, that's so terrible. Play Tower. Pass the turn. I don't think I'm going to go for Tron lands. I'm going to take the Temple here. Yeah, we just drew our other wastes. That's not something that really should ever happen. But that's really painful. Because what that means is if my opponent has Snapcasters or they have another Cleansing Wildfire, they're going to fire it off like there's no tomorrow right now. Yep. That is brutal. I mean, Cantripping Sinkhole is really good. That are wastes? What do they have, a Blood Moon? Karn, Grey Creator. Play wastes. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Colonnade. Hit us for 2, that's fine. Okay, they're passing. We untap. We draw a Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. I'd actually really like for them to just animate Colonnade here, but they're not going to do that. They attack us for 2. Okay. Attempt to dismember Snapcaster. It works. We untap. We draw Ugin the Ineffable. Play Eldrazi Temple. We're going to run this Reality Smasher right into a Cryptic. Because we know that's what our opponent has. Oh, it resolves. Go to combat. Hit them for 5. Take them to 10. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand. Gets an island. Cycling Shark Typhoon. X4. Okay, they take the full 5. They untap. They play a mountain. Are they intent on racing? Batterskull. Okay, they hit us for 4. Man, if we could resolve an All Is Dust here, that would be game. We'd need an Urza's Mind to do that, I think. Actually, Eldrazi Temple would work too. Power Plant is not those things. Ah, damn. I was going to say, we're 1 away from playing Karn and just wishing for Ratchet Bomb, and then just taking out the tokens, and like we're fine. Is there anything else we can do? We'd only be able to wish for a 1-drop if I played Karn. We can't play Ugin. We're 1 mana off of All Is Dust. Yeah, Karn's our only play. If we had Pithing Needle right here, we could live. We don't have anything. Nerds. Alright, run it back for game 3. I would like to play first. This is pretty good. This is turn 2 Thought-Knots here. Turn 3 Reality Smasher on the play. Just generally what Eldrazi Tron wants to do. So start Eldrazi Temple, pass the turn. And hey, they can't Simian Spirit Guide out a Cleansing Wildfire. What do you know? Alright, we get an Expedition map. Play Eldrazi Temple. Play Thought-Knot Seer. Opponent has Lightning Bolt, Cleansing Wildfire, Brazen Borrower. Brazen Borrower might actually be a bigger deal than Cleansing Wildfire here. But I mean, like, my opponent would spend their entire turn to putting Thought-Knot back in her hand, and we would be able to replay it immediately. I think we let them have Cleansing Wildfire and take Brazen Borrower. I mean, they're gonna cast Cleansing Wildfire on turn 2, but we could start, like, working towards Tron. Opponent fetches up a Raugrin Triome, they untap. Play Scalding Tarn, they fetch immediately for a mountain. Yep, we get a Wastes. We untap. Chalice. Playing a Chalice on one is kind of fun here. Just taking them off of Lightning Bolt. So what are we doing? We're playing a Tron land. That much is for sure. And then we can play Mind Stone, or we can play Expedition Map, and then we can play Chalice. Mind Stone lets us play Reality Smasher next turn, guaranteed. Expedition Map lets us assemble Tron, or potentially get a... You know, I think we just go for the Mind Stone Chalice on one. I don't think we need this Expedition Map. I think shutting off my opponent's cantrips and lightning bolts is very important. Go to combat, hit them for 4. Like, it potentially opens us up to getting Reality Smasher countered, but the only counterspell we know that they have for sure is Spell Queller. They won't be able to have Cryptic. If they have a Mana Leak, then I guess okay. Force Negation won't work. And obviously Reality Smasher is outside of Spell Queller range. They play a basic island. They may just cycle Shark Typhoon to chump here. I could see that being a thing. We get an Endbringer, which we could play this turn, but I think Smasher is more important. So play Smasher. Hit them for 9. They cycle Shark Typhoon to chump the 4/4. And they just take it. That may have been a misclick. So we're currently representing lethal. I guess they could have Spell Queller to block too. They play Hallowed Fountain tapped, which means no Cryptic Command. Okay, we untap. We draw Dismember, which I think just means we win. So go to combat. Attack for 9. Opponent chumps. They're going to take 5. Oh, they Lightning Helix. Well, it's a good thing we have our old 1-mana counterspell that draws them a card. Dismember our own Thought-Knot Seer. Bam, got him. Alright. I will see you all in round 5. Alrighty. Round 5, here we go. We'll play first. I mean, I can use map to tutor for Eldrazi Temple. I'm against a Yorion deck. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep. So start Urza's Mine, play Expedition Map, pass the turn. Opponent starts Plains. So they are probably the like Death and Taxes Yorion list, I imagine. Play Blast Zone. I'm gonna go ahead and just tutor for Eldrazi Temple now. Pass the turn. We do want to draw another land. Opponent plays their own Eldrazi Temple. Plays an Eldrazi Displacer. We untap. Draw Ugin the Ineffable. Play Eldrazi Temple. Play Thought-Knot Seer. So they are the like Eldrazi taxes list with Yorion. Bone Crusher Giant, 5 lands. Alrighty. Pass the turn. Man, we gotta draw a land and we gotta just start the beats immediately. But it plays a Sunbaked Canyon. We draw. All is dust. Play Expedition Map. Crack Expedition Map. Get an Eldrazi Temple. Play Eldrazi Temple. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 4. They do not block, they take 4. Okay. Opponent sacks Sunbaked Canyon to draw. They untap. They play Inspiring Vantage. Skyclave Apparition, hitting Thought-Knot Seer. We get hit for 3, sure. Inspiring Vantage was not one of the cards we saw. Draw Wastes. Play Wastes. I can All Is Dust if I have to. Play Reality Smasher. Go to combat. Smack him for 5. I must say that ticking up Blast Zone to 3 is also tempting. Okay, opponent plays Ghost Quarter. They may go after a Eldrazi Temple on their turn, especially if they don't have any other plays. Like, they might put Yorion in their hand and then just activate Ghost Quarter. And if they do that, I want to tick up Blast Zone to 2. And they play Thalia. Guardian of Thraben. Go to combat. They attack us for 5, sure. We untap. Draw Cavern. Play Cavern. Name Eldrazi. Play Smasher. Go to combat. I think my opponent has to blink a Smasher here. No? Alright. Hit him for 10. I guess they still can. Yep. Opponent takes 5, goes to 6. They play a second Ghost Quarter. They attack us for 7. We go to 5, untap. We draw Matter Reshaper. Go to combat. They probably just flicker both of our guys here during combat. So we let them do this. And then cast All Is Dust, using all of our mana. They get to keep their Devoid Eldrazi Displacer, but we have a 4-mana token, which they also will have to blink now. Not a 4-mana token, but a 4/4 token from a 4 CMC permanent. I am very tired, and it is extremely late, and I have work in the morning. So I hope you all appreciate this video, because it was recorded on short notice. Oh dear. Okay. What is our opponent doing now? Giver of Runes. Alright, that's a blocker. Interesting they're playing an 80 card deck and have drawn 3 Ghost Quarters. They can still activate Displacer twice, now only once. They blink the token now. Okay, they hit us for 3, we go to 2. Let's see what we draw. We untap, draw Thought-Knot Seer. I could play Ugin, but it would be all of my mana. I can play Thought-Knot and Matter Reshaper. The problem is I can't kill Eldrazi Displacer. So if I attack with both Smashers, they blink one of them, they take 5, go to 1, then they untap, and they can blink both of my guys. So I actually have to hold back and wait for a turn. Play Thought-Knot Seer. Take a look at what they got going on. Aether Vial, nothing. Play Matter Reshaper. Pass the turn. Oh, actually, crap. They can blink, blink, then give protection from colorless. They have us beat. They may not know this. Okay, so we have to attack. Yeah, they still have us beat, just because we only have colorless threats. I actually couldn't win. Doesn't matter what I did, I couldn't win. Wow, well played, opponent. Well played. Yep. Alright. Spatial Contortion in. Potentially Warping Whales in. Chalice gonna be way less good here. In fact, I'm gonna cut all of them and run Wormcoil instead of one. Try it like this. I mean, I could play like Sky Sovereign instead of Wormcoil. That would also be reasonable, depending on what I was more worried about. Sky Sovereign does something when it enters. So that's actually probably better than Wormcoil if my opponent's doing repeatable flicker shenanigans. Alright, I'd love to play first. I think it's imperative. That's a mulligan. That's a mulligan too. That's not what you want to see. See if our opponent keeps 7. Well, they also mulligan. We gotta go to 5. Alright. Let's see if Tron is good enough. Put back Wastes. Put back Mind Stone. So start Urza's Mine Expedition map. Pass. Opponent plays Sacred Foundry. Tapped. Draw another Urza's Mine. Play Power Plant. Pass the turn. You got a Ghost Quarter this turn, or we play Karn, Great Creator. Thalia. Crack map. Get tower. Thalia resolves. We untap. Draw Mind Stone. Play tower. Play Mind Stone. Play Karn. Go ahead and wish. Really wish we had a Mystic Forge here, but I'm gonna get Wormcoil Engine. Pass the turn. Gonna plays Battlefield Forge. Hits Karn down to 1. Plays Displacer. That card's so good. We get a Thought-Knot here. A little bit too late, but... So, play Eldrazi Temple. Play Wormcoil. Play Thought-Knot. Take a look at their hand. Thought-Knot or Path to Exile. Take Path. Uptick Karn. Pass the turn. So now my opponent has to choose between Ghost Quarter or Thought-Knot Seer this turn. I imagine they're going to play Thought-Knot Seer. They could, like, Ghost Quarter us, then Flicker with Eldrazi Displacer to make sure that we can't Wormcoil Engine. But they're going to have to attack with both creatures to kill Karn, and we could block Eldrazi Displacer that way. And they could just end up casting Thought-Knot, which would be minimal value, because then they wouldn't get to use Displacer. We would definitely get in an attack with Wormcoil Engine, and seeing as how they don't have any other stuff going on right now, we can probably crack Mind Stone for a draw. Okay, they put Yorion in their hand, and they're going to Ghost Quarter. So we untap. The Ghost Quarter tower on our upkeep? Sure. Get a Wastes. We draw. Matter Reshaper. Okay, view sideboard. I suppose I should just Spyglass. I could get Crucible, but I imagine Spyglass on Displacer is probably where I want to be. If I crack Stone, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, that's enough. So sack Stone first. See what we draw. Well, we get Tower. Does that change what we wish for or anything like that? Not really. Yeah, okay, not really. So, go to combat. Attack our opponent for 10. Opponent does not block. We gain 6, they take 10. Wish with Karn. Spyglass. Play Spyglass. I have to pay 3. That's right. Okay. Name Eldrazi Displacer. Then we play Matter Reshaper. Pass the turn. So we're immune to a Thought-Knot here. So opponent plays Rugged Prairie, which is a card they just drew. We untap. We draw All Is Dust. It matters because it changes their blocks. So All is dust. 7 mana, sacrifice Thalia, please. Actually, 8 mana, sacrifice Thalia, please. Players is mine. Go to combat. I mean, we just swing all out. Opponent's blocks are not great. They're going to take 9, go to 1. Top deck Walking Ballista? Lethal? So we get to draw Ulamog. Alright, well, I mean, that's a good backup plan. If my opponent just plays Yorion and nothing else, which they can't because they're at 1 and they'd have to use Sunbaked Canyon because Inspiring Vantage would come in tapped. So unless they drew another untapped land and play Yorion, they're dead. Or they had to have drawn like another path or something. So they play Inspiring Vantage, which means no Yorion this turn. Giver of Runes. And Aven Mind Sensor. I hate to say it, opponent, but we got you. Untap. Draw Scavenger Grounds. Play it. And cast Big Papa Ulamog. Exiling Giver and Displacer. Nice. So we go into game 3. No adjustments. I mean, you could argue that, like, I could take out Relic just to run Wormcoil in the main, but I like still being able to wish for Wormcoil. Don't know how relevant that's going to be most of the time in a matchup like this, but if we had more mana, this hand would be great. Spatial Contortion's still not bad. Opponent did mulligan to 6. I think that means it's fine for us to mulligan too. Yeah, it's pretty good. We're gonna keep. We put back a tower. Let's see what our opponent does. They start Plains Aether Vial. Hey, it's Aether Vial. We draw a Warping Whale. Players a tower. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Aether Vial on 1. They play Rugged Prairie. So we untap. Drawners is mine. Players is mine. Play Mind Stone. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Aether Vial going up to 2. They play an Inspiring Vantage. The only thing that would be better than Eldrazi Temple next turn is if we drew Power Plant and my opponent did not have Disruption for our lands. Play Sword of Fire and Ice. Oh, you'll love to see it. You just, Oh, it's just delicious. I mean, like, we're gonna Thought Knot Serum. If they, like, Vial in a Thalia, we can just Warping Whaler away. Lightning Bolt and Flicker Wisp. Well, I mean, like, we're gonna take both of these, right? Like, we just take the Flicker Wisp from them, and then, like, surprise second Thought Knot Seer. Oh, take the Lightning Bolt. And now they're just top deck and dead. Unless they top deck exactly something they can equip to this turn. Ghost Quarter. You got a Ghost Quarter. They have 1 card in hand. And we don't know what it is. If it's not a creature... I mean, I suppose even if it is a creature they can Vial in, they probably just put Yorion in their hand this turn using all of their non-Ghost Quarter mana. Unless they have a path, then they won't do that. Okay, we untap. They Ghost Quarter our tower. Okay. Get a Wastes. We draw Eldrazi Temple. Alright. Cycle Mind Stone. Play tower. Alright, go to combat. Attack for 8. Opponent takes 8. Goes to 12. So my opponent was either bluffing a path or forgot they could put Yorion in hand, or they were worried we had another Thought Knot Seer. Okay, they're vialing in something on 3. Man, if it's a Flicker Wisp. It is a Flicker Wisp. Alright, they get to draw a card off of Thought Knot. So, in response to equip, we would exile Flicker Wisp. When it gets to untap, Aether Vial going up to 4. They play an Inspiring Vantage. You try to equip that sword. Exile target creature, toughness 1 or less. Man, we are lagging hard. Okay, Flicker Wisp gets exiled. They vial in a 4-drop. It's their own Thought-Knot Seer. Okay, so we get a Thought-Knot Seer back now. We get to see no cards in their hand. Untap. We draw. Power Plant. Go to combat. We gotta draw something good when our opponent blocks here. And they do have to block. I guess they don't have to block. It's actually reasonable for them not to, because that could potentially give us a draw that would be fatal for them. So what they can do is they can spend their turn putting Yorion in their hand, playing Yorion, and then having 2 blockers. So we need a way to power through Yorion, like a Reality Smasher would do it. If they top deck an untapped land, that would be the worst thing, because then they could actually put Yorion into their hand, put him onto the battlefield, and then equip Sword to something. And Giver of Runes is also bad, but not as bad. Okay. They can attack and then flicker Thought-Knot here. That might be one of their better plays, but they did not. Does Reality Smasher still do it? I don't think so. But, like, I'm still gonna do it. Play Smasher. It means they have to block Smasher with Yorion. So go to combat, which means they get a no-value Vial. Then they have to trade Thought-Knots and chump with a Giver. And we get to keep a Thought-Knot and a Reality Smasher. So beginning of combat. Attack for 13. See how they block. Just gonna F6 at this point, because we're running low on clock and I don't want to brain. It is very, very early. Alright, this lets them keep a Yorion. They do get to draw 2 cards, we get to draw 1. I guess I did not consider this blocking configuration. I suppose F6ing was incorrect there, but we did only draw an Expedition map, so... And leave it on 5. They have 3 cards in hand. They play a Temple. They're attacking? Shouldn't they have equipped Sword first? I mean, if they have Displacer, then this makes sense. Flicker Wisp. Flickering Yorion. Yorion flickering Flicker Wisp. Oh, okay. Because they could have flickered Flicker Wisp, but then it wouldn't have come back until our end step, because I wasn't thinking about that correctly. We draw Karn. Play Karn. Wish. Is Ensnaring Bridge reasonable? Yeah, it kind of is. I don't want to play the long game because I'm lagging so badly, and it's like too late to restart the client. Play map. Crack map. Get Blast Zone. Play Blast Zone. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Aether Vial, staying on 5. So they need a Skyclave Apparition now, which is not impossible for them to have or to draw. If they do have it, we're in for a very bad time. Another Aether Vial, no cards left. So we untap, we draw Thought-Knot, Wish with Karn. Yes, get Wormcoil. Play Wormcoil. Play Urza's Mine. Tap Tower and Wastes. Play Thought-Knot. Look at an empty hand. Yep. Take up Blast Zone to 2. We need to get it on 3 and then crack it and blow everything up. We lose our Ensnaring Bridge. Opponent loses a blocker. We have lethal attack. That's the plan. Let's see if I have enough time to actually execute on that. Opponent draws a card. Oh, it's Displacer, but Displacer will get Blast Zoned, I guess. They could Flicker Wisp, because I can exile a permanent, so they could hit Ensnaring Bridge. Yep, they're going to attack for 4. That doesn't actually... Oh, okay, because... Oh, yeah, because Ensnaring Bridge now comes back. On our turn, We can't wish for Sorcerer's Spyglass. The lag is like unbearable. We untap. We draw another Smasher. Play Smasher. Play Temple. Take Zone up to 3. And as long as my opponent does not top deck a Ghost Quarter, we win next turn. So pass the turn. I could have technically gotten around this by like only playing Worm Coil or Thought Knot like the turn before, but my brain is so overworked right now. I need to go to bed, and I will very soon, because this game is gonna be over one way or another. Either my opponent got it or they didn't, and we were trapped by our own bridge. Oh crap! What's happening? They're equipping Eorian. They do not Flicker Wisp. Oh no, Flicker Wisp can flicker. They can flicker Blast Zone. The jerks. Stop. I need to draw Walking Ballista. Or Ulamog. Oh, I don't have enough time to win. Okay, Dismember does it. Kill Displacer. Oh, but it buys him another turn and potentially... Potentially this is very bad. I mean, if they have another Flicker Wisp or another Displacer, then we're in trouble. Or another Ghost Quarter or Field. They stomp our face. Cast the Giant. Activate Blast Zone. Okay, we untap. We draw Sky Sovereign. Blow up Blast Zone. Killing all of my opponent's relevant things and my Ensnaring Bridge. And they scoop it up, giving us 5 treasure chests, 120 play points. Woo! Feels like a Tron meta. Alright. Treasure chest number 1. 10 play points, Graven Cairns. Treasure chest number 2. 5 play points, Champion of Dusk, Shacklegeist. Treasure chest number 3. 20 play points, Spectral Shift. Treasure chest number 4. 10 play points, Eladamri's Call. That's worth like a ticket, I think. And treasure chest number 5. Final treasure chest is 5 play points, a Extended Art Draugr Necromancer, and an Endless Whispers. Interesting. And Moto crashed. Oh well. Alright, I'm very tired. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate it if you did. Link in the description to the Discord if you want to annoy me at times that I'm not playing Magic or streaming or YouTube upload. You know what I'm talking about. Stream will be later in the day after this video goes up, just so y'all know. It's probably a crappy time to announce that, but you're all wonderful human beings. Thanks for watching. Tired Kano, gonna bed. Yeah, that one. Good night.